Hey crew, let's run through some of the Bitmex altcoins now. I'll start with Bitcoin Cash because we recently had a trade on this one that we got stopped out. So I'll show you the entry and the criteria as to why we entered it. Starting off on the daily, this is where the analysis first started. We've got pretty good support here. A rejection here, but also here we broke through but immediately pushed straight back up. So a false break before heading higher. So this level here is pretty important. And what we got here, momentum down and a pullback, and we got some nice wicks and rejection of this previous level also. So once I saw this bearish momentum come in, this was my daily direction prediction, and around this region was where I was looking for a short. So as per the daily, fantastic price action here, ready for the next leg down. So here's a 1 hour chart on Bitcoin Cash. As you can see, these were the rejection, the high test wicks on the daily chart. So from there, this little intraday horizontal support and resistance level is what I was looking at. We had a few touches on a trend line here, so a break and retest of horizontal level plus the 1 hour 50 EMA is where we entered the trade. So pretty good entry here, but a 4 hour 50 EMA rejection here was also a valid entry, although we would have been above this horizontal level here. So very nice daily, very nice 1 hour chart for a short. It didn't pan out, one of those trades, unfortunately. We had a stop pretty low, wasn't a massive loss on this one, but once it got to there, crossed back over the EMAs, yeah, the analysis was proved wrong in this situation. Just one of those ones, very good entry. I'd take these every time I seen them. Just one of those ones that didn't pan out. As for future trades, anything coming up, let's just switch back to the daily. It's kind of no man's land now. We could quite easily just reject this level here and drop back below, or hold this support now, break and retest and head higher. At the moment it's a bit of a choppy range. I just need a bit more clear direction before anything comes to Bitcoin Cash as far as trades goes. EOS is looking pretty interesting, and actually something that's pretty high on my watch list. At the time of this recording, I'm actually nearly ready to go long on this. We're not really at huge, great support levels here, but we've got a rejection way back here, and now flattening out, accumulation zone here, and possibly this little double bottom here. It might get a little bit of momentum to come back and retest the weekly 20 EMA. So that's the weekly chart on that one. Let's break down what I'm looking for an entry. Not a great deal on the daily here. We've got a little bit of resistance here that we've now crossed over. I'm just got to be careful that we're not building a bit of a phase line here. So today's daily candle is pretty important. So if we can get a nice bullish engulfing that closes above the daily 50 MA, as you can see, we haven't traded above it for quite some time. We did here for a little while, but we smashed back through it. So if we can get a nice bullish engulfing candle closing above this horizontal level here and the daily 50 MA, that'd be nice. We can look to trade this and possibly trade all the way back up to this level here. What's our risk reward on that one? It's about a 30% move. We can do this one with leverage too, probably 10x leverage. That's a 300% trade. So that's why this one's high on the watch list. But if we get a daily close on this trend line, on the support, or even below this trend line, it could be all over and fall all the way back down. But this is certainly something that's high on the radar for now. So here's the 1 hour, and what I'm looking for. I've got a pretty nice, it's not super clean, but it is a horizontal support and resistance level, which we've just broken through with momentum. So break and retest now. So we're actually pretty close to an entry. So if we do get a clean entry, I'll look to call this. First target will be the previous high here, and from there we'll use the daily and weekly charts to look at possible further moves. Bitcoin dominance falling might mean an altcoin rally for the meantime. So we'll just keep an eye on it. Not a very nice trend line, but the 1 hour run is pretty overextended. So we'll see how this goes, whether we hold, whether this is a break and retest and we'll hold above it, or whether we're going to drop back below. So this one's pretty close to a trade call. I just want to see a nice rejection, nice low test wick. That would be nice for an entry. That's EOS. Got Ripple up now. Ripple's had a strong couple of weeks. I did actually miss a trade on this one, unfortunately, guys. Wasn't at the right place at the right time, so I'm a little bit salty about that one. But I just pull up the weekly here. We're just retesting the weekly 20 MA here. I do like the weekly 20s as far as price action and support and resistance goes. So this is a strong run now that needs a pullback, but we're looking pretty good if we do break above the weekly 20. This horizontal level here, about 4,000 sats, is looking pretty good and would most certainly be the next target. Just flicked over to the daily now on Ripple. We've just broken above resistance here, that previous high. So little double bottom there, break, retest, and now we've broken back above. So if we hold above this level here, that's a good sign. It is a bit overextended even on the daily, so the next 24 hours will be important. If that is a high test wick candle rejecting this horizontal level, I'll be looking to stay away for a while. But overall, this does look pretty strong to continue for a little bit longer. Got ADA up now, guys, on the weekly. Not a great deal to show here. We're in no man's land as far as weekly support structure goes, but just really pulled this one up mainly just to show the weekly 20 MA. We've got a pretty decent gap here, which I anticipate that we may close. So lower time frames, if we can get entry on ADA. This one's high up on my watch list like EOS. So let's drill down and have a quick look at it. Daily chart and ADA, not a great deal here to see as well. We haven't traded above the daily 50 MA for quite some time. False break here. We did close above this here briefly before we fell down. So same deal here. If we can get a bullish engulfing candle closing above the daily 50 MA, that's a pretty good sign that we're going to get some follow through. So the first target would be this previous high here, and that's a 25% move. So we can trade this one with leverage, 10x leverage. That's a 250% move. So if we get a nice setup on this one, this is definitely on the radar, looking pretty good. So this is the 1 hour chart here. As you know, I usually use the 1 hour chart for my entries. This one hasn't really got anything clean, but just looking at it now, we've possibly missed an entry here. I didn't even see it at the time, to be honest. So we've broken out here. Yeah, it might have been tough, this one. That candle there, that high test wick, followed by doji, I probably wouldn't have called this. So I'm not sure it's a mistrade. And then it just took off. So would have been a tough one to catch. But that one there is the bottom. As for getting in now, I really would like a pullback. There's nothing clean on this one. There's no pattern. There's no really clean structure. That's a small rising wedge, only a couple, and it's broken out the top. That's a bearish reversal. Maybe if we come back and retest the top of this wedge, that's a reasonable place for an entry, but it really comes down to the daily time frame on this one. What have we got? Horizontal levels. Yeah, so maybe a retest of this level. Let's chop through a little bit, but there's a rejection, break, retest. Yeah, not clean there. Didn't quite reject it there. Rejection there, break, retest. Rejection, break, retest. Support, support. Break, retest. So it's a bit of a zone rather than a clean area. So that might be as clean as it gets for ADA if we want to take a long-term swing trade. An entry in around this region here. That's what we'll look for. Yep. Alright, that one's on the watch list, guys. I'll keep you posted. Alright, everyone's favourite, especially mine, Tron. We're reversed here really on no man's land either, so as per the other weekly charts, just a retest of the weekly 20 MA would be nice. Looks pretty good momentum on this one. Should continue a little bit higher yet. So let's drill down on this one, see what we can find. Alright, this one's pretty interesting. This one here is front running a little bit than in ahead of EOS and ADA. What I was mentioning before was a nice engulfing candle closing above the daily 50 MA, and that's what we got here. That candle there is pretty good, pretty solid momentum, no wicks, no rejections, just a full-bodied candle there. So we've followed through ever since we closed above the daily 50 MA. That's what I'm looking for ADA and EOS to continue the run and follow through. Tron has done that. So the next target for Tron would be that low there, about 220. This thing could run to. It's looking pretty strong. Here's the 1 hour chart. So this one could just keep running up for a long time yet. This trend line here will be pretty key, pretty crucial as to where we short Tron. It's too late to get in now, so we'll just let it run, but I think around the 220 area is where we'll look to see a break and retest of trend lines and EMAs to possibly short this thing. Now, going long on this thing is a little bit hard to catch this one. Unless you caught this double bottom here, you would have had to be pretty quick. Got a break and a retest of this area here, but we also just broke straight through it and retested. So to enter there, the risk reward, I'm not sure would have been in it to this next horizontal level. So I don't really consider it a missed trade on Tron, but perhaps this breakout here would have been a good entry. A little bit annoying that we didn't get on this one either, but I can't really see a nice clean entry on this one. It's just one of those things. I'm pretty disciplined with my entries, even though I think and I know something's going to run. You just got to trade what you see, not what you think, you know. So you got to stick to your trade plan. You always got to trade your breakouts, your patterns, and your certain set trading criteria. You can't just jump in a trade because you see a line break and you think it's going to run. It's got to be clean. You got to stay true to what you learnt and what you trade. That's it. That's it for the alts, guys. EOS and ADA are top of the watch list. I haven't included Litecoin in this analysis because it's a little bit choppy, a little bit ugly on most time frames, so I can't see any opportunities in that one. That's kind of it, guys. As far as Bitcoin dominance goes and it's falling, may mean an alt rally for the next few days, maybe a couple of weeks. So I'm going to be diving pretty deep into the Binance chart. So I may not be posting too much in the chat channel and in the news channel. If I'm not, you know what I'm doing. I'm flat out on the Binance pairs trying to find us some SAC collecting altcoins.